What I want to do today is share with you a workshop. We're going to chat about, can you double your mortgage rate to achieve $500,000 in net worth? And one of the things that we see on a regular basis, and I think I've got a slide in here showing it somewhere, that the vast majority of people right now have an interest rate below 4%. Yeah, I do have that slide. Okay. So if you're taking a look at it, I'm just trying to find it for myself so I have the numbers. So 70.7% of the mortgage rates are less than 4%. And if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, the ABC News and Talk AM 1490 video feed, you're seeing a chart. 26% of the mortgages are below 3%. 44.7% are between 3 and 4. And 20.3 are between 4 and 5. Do a little math right there. 70.7% of the mortgage rates are less than 4%. We understand that. The other thing that we know is that over the last 5 years, that real estate has appreciated 57.3%. 57.3%. On the Pacific Coast, 49.3%. So many people have a low mortgage rate and they have a lot of equity in their property. So what do? We look at that numbers and we say, okay, a lot of folks are saying, you know something, Ron, I've got debts, but there's no way that I want to give up my 3% mortgage or my 4% mortgage. And you know something? I get it. So what we want to do, we want to look at there is what is really happening. So what we did is we went and did a little bit of a analysis. And we've got a property value that's $729,000. This property was purchased, the hypothetical property. And again, don't pay attention to the specifics of some of the numbers I share with you. I want you to get a global idea of this. So we have a property that was purchased about 4 years ago, $500,000, $400,000 loan. The property is appreciated over time. The property now is worth $729,739. That's with just going based off of appreciation numbers, using historic norms and the area valuations. We looked at that, and it was refinanced a couple of years ago into a 3.25% interest rate. The loan balance right now is $384,419. There's $345,000 in equity on this property. Equity is simply the property value less the amount of the encumbrances. Remember, they've got a 3.25% interest rate. On their existing lien, they've got $1,741 principal and interest, $725 in taxes and insurance. But this hypothetical family, and it's not all that abnormal, has debt. We've been racking up lots of debt. We're at almost all-time highs in debt. They've got a MasterCard, $20,000 balance, $660 payment. They've got a Visa with a $20,000 balance, $660 payment. They've got a Discover card, $10,000 balance, $380 payment. They've got a Macy's card, $6,000 balance, $300 payment. And yes, they've got an auto loan with $48,000 balance, $1,044. Average auto loan now is $800 a month. There's a significant number of people, about 1 out of 5, almost 1 out of 5, have a auto loan that's got over $1,000 a month in payment. So when we add all of that up together, this family's revolving debt comes out to $2,000 a month. Installment debt is $1,044. Their total existing, their household debt service, we call it, is $5,510. $5,510 a month. Now that's all that really should matter to somebody, is how much money do I have to spend every single month to meet all my numbers, right? To pay all my debts. What does the interest rate matter? It doesn't. It's totally irrelevant. I'm just throwing that out there. Now, what if we take this family and move them from the existing loans and debts, lump all of that into one new loan, $496,333. They're still going to have $241,000 in equity. And we put in there $3,000 in closing costs. We want to make sure that everything is still kosher on there. We're going to move the interest rate up to 7.25% with a 7.315 APR. We're going to include in there the $104,000 in debts. We're paying all of those off. So now our total household debt is $4,111. We're saving $1,399 a month by getting rid of the 3.25% mortgage, going to a 7.25% mortgage, almost double, and getting rid of all of those other debts. $1,399 in savings. Think about that. Now, what do we do with that $1,399? We've been making all those payments already. So why don't we take that money and apply it to the new loan? This is just one strategy. There's many others. Apply it to the new loan. What happens? Well, we pay off the loan in 13 years, 8 months. Paid off, gone. 13 years, 8 months. Now, if we did nothing, our existing loan is going to have 28 years on it. So we're going to save 14 years and 4 months. That's 172 payments saved. Now, what are we going to do with all that money that we're after that 13 years, 8 months? Well, what if we just start putting that into a savings account? What does that mean? So after 5 years, I should say, we're going to have $27,080 saved. 10 years, $158,000 saved. After 13 years, 8 months, we're going to have $295,541 saved. Now, we are still going to see more appreciation on our property, right? It's going to keep appreciating over time. We're always going to have that part of it. So with all of that said, what we're going to end up doing is after that 28 years, we're going to have $699,452. Assume you're making that minimum payment on the revolving balance, all that debt is paid off, and you keep saving the money. Not everybody saves the money. Now, what are you thinking we're going to look at next? We have to look at this concept of what are the experts saying about appreciation. So we go to my favorite source, the Home Price Expectation Survey. What do they say properties are going to do? It's a national number. So remember, California goes usually a little bit more than this, sometimes even double what the national numbers are. Home Price Expectation Survey for 2023. By the time we finish this, you're going to be about done. 3.32%. 2024, they say 2.17%. 2025, 3.24. 2026, 3.79. 2027, 4.18. So property values are going to continue to rise. Now, home price, why do I like the Home Price Expectation Survey? Because that is an average of over 100 economists, bankers, educators, industry folks. They're the ones that put this together. The Home Price Expectation Survey then marries all that information. So it's an average. So it's not just one person, one opinion. But the whole concept of what I'm sharing with you right here is it's not an issue of what the interest rate is. What do we do after this, though? Because a lot of folks are saying, well, Ron, you keep telling us interest rates are going to drop in a recession. They do. Historically, interest rates drop during a recession. But why do I say to do this now? Well, we've talked about this before, and we call it the RSR two-step. Once we finish going through this process, get all of your debts cleaned up, get you saving money, then our next focus is, after this is all done, our next focus will be step 2. Actually, step 1.5, and then step 2. Step 1.5 is we're going to have a conversation, and we're going to set up a time frame for you. The time frame is, and it's real data driven. I know I don't like that word, data driven, but it is data driven. We're going to look at it and say, as soon as interest rates hit a point where you can save 10% on your monthly payment, 10% on that monthly payment. Let's turn back the clock and see what is that monthly payment that we talked about. Our monthly payment is $55.10. So when we can get, because remember, we're taking all of that money, we're taking the new principal and interest, and we're applying that $1,399 to the new loan. So we're still keeping that same payments out of your pocket of $55.10. As soon as we can save 10% there and save 3 years on your mortgage time frame, we're going to have it trigger. Documents will automatically come out to you for a new loan. Now, why do I want to do that now again instead of waiting? Well, the bottom line is when we do a cash out refinance, there's what's called a loan level price adjustment. Loan level price adjustments are risk-based pricing, and what they do is they increase the cost of that loan, they increase the interest rate because it's a cash out refinance. But when we do this trigger, this rapid refi, we call it, when this rapid refi triggers, that is already going to be saved for you. You're not going to have to deal with a cash out refinance, so you're going to save even more money. And again, what we do is we always watch for you to see when it's advantageous for you to do another rapid refi. That's how we do a strategy. Now, I share with you all the time, strategy beats rate always. I just showed you a strategy. Now, your numbers are going to be different. I know that already. We just showed you a strategy, how you can almost double your mortgage rate and put, what was that, $600,000 or $700,000 into your net worth. Think about that.